Welcome back, everyone. Marvel released more first looks at Avengers Doomsday, and they look pissed. Based on what they've already revealed, we have a pretty good idea for what's happening in the scenes, and one of the first big ones is Shang-Chi teaming up with the X-Men in what's going on with Magneto, the Brotherhood of Mutants, basically all the classic characters coming back and mixing with the brand new MCU characters. And it looks like they're going to try and wreck Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, but we kind of know how this is supposed to go down during Doomsday because of what's happening during Avengers Secret Wars. The overwhelming majority of scenes they've revealed so far are X-Men fighting Doctor Doom in their universe. So we'll break it all down, and because we're doing that ticket giveaway for the Fantastic Four, it's coming out soon, all you need to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with the X-Men in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars before they reboot the team in the new X-Men movie happening during Marvel Phase 7. This is sort of meant to be the last hurrah of the classic X-Men characters. Just because it's going to be so crazy this summer, I found a couple partners to help me with the giveaways too, just because we have Marvel and DC happening at the same time, because Superman coming out at the same time Fantastic Four is coming out. We're going to be eating good this summer. And because they literally just did this in the Fantastic Four trailer, you can just see everybody doing the same thing in the theater during Avengers Doomsday, pointing at the screen, yelling at the X-Men to say the thing.
To me, my X-Men.
They've actually used that classic comic book line multiple times on X-Men the Animated Series and X-Men 97, in animation basically. Now they just need to do it in live action. It's sort of like the new version of the Avengers Assemble line, where they waited till Avengers Endgame to actually let Chris Evans, Captain America, say the full line out loud on screen. But you all probably saw the most recent Avengers Doomsday scene with Cyclops and Shang-Chi here filming. It raises more questions than it answers, but we already have a pretty good idea for what's going on with the different teams in the movie. There are meant to be 5 major groups of characters coming into the beginning of the movie that'll each combine into a couple different groups, the same way they split the teams up during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Basically the idea that all the teams converge back into one giant group for the final battle in Avengers Endgame, basically doing the same thing in Doomsday and Secret Wars, where like everybody will finally be together again by the end of Secret Wars. According to Kevin Feige, the 5 main groups at the start of Avengers Doomsday are meant to be the classic X-Men. There are some big ones that they left out of Chair Watch, like Storm, the Phoenix. They will probably be in the movie. Part of the reason for the delay in the movies is that the contracts were not finished for a lot of these big characters they wanted. There's Captain America's New Avengers that they referenced during the Thunderbolts movie. There's also the Thunderbolts characters who are also now called a separate New Avengers team. There is no way they're all going to make it out of Avengers Doomsday alive. We have the Fantastic Four, and then the Wakandans, as Kevin Feige is calling them, basically the Black Panther characters. Technically, it's 6 groups if you include Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom and his team of evil Avengers, his allies from the multiverse that are helping him. These first looks that they just released and the scenes that we've already seen of them filming mean that at some point, Shang-Chi and some of the new Avengers characters will team up with the X-Men during the movie. Originally, when it was still Marvel's plan to do Avengers 5 as Kang Dynasty, there were going to be 3 separate teams. I'm guessing by the end of Avengers Doomsday, everyone will also have combined into at least 3 different teams, all fighting 3 different sides of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom allies in different locations. Like there'll be one team fighting Doctor Doom himself, another team fighting Chris Evans, and a couple of the other returning characters playing multiverse versions of actors, like evil versions of their characters, helping Robert Downey Jr. Then another team fighting some other force in the movie that's allied with him. One of these major locations is not inside the MCU, as you would expect, because it is a multiverse movie. Like we're talking about closing down the multiverse saga here. It's all about the incursions, destroying the multiverse. These are all meant to take place in the alternate universe where the X-Men will be coming from. Notice they're at the X-Mansion, like you can very clearly see the grounds of the X-Mansion with all the battle damage, and battle damage Sentinels that are comic book accurate. Also accurate to the X-Men 97 designs, because those were also based on the comics.
Remember it.
Kevin Feige has said that all the X-Men that are coming back will look more comic book accurate. They'll wear comic book accurate costumes. You just have to imagine the cool merch and toys that they plan on selling for this movie. Way more comic book accurate stuff like back in the day. I will try to do giveaways for as much of that stuff as possible. Thankfully, I've actually found a couple partners to help me with that. So thank you to Boot Dev for actually sponsoring this video. Boot Dev is a programming mentor that helps you learn how to code faster and better using a new chat feature named Boots. and a system of challenges making lessons feel like you're playing games. It's built on top of the most powerful models right now from Google, Anthropic, OpenAI. It's integrated directly into every lesson and has full context about what your tastes are, what you're struggling with, and provides handcrafted solutions to your needs. Boots doesn't just write code for you, and he doesn't hand over the answers. Instead, he pushes you to think critically and actually learn how your code works, helping you in the right direction when you're totally stuck. Unlike a lot of the tutorials you'd find on YouTube, you have to build your own code from the start, so it's not just copying and pasting. Essentially, Boots helps teach you the concept, explain what it is, how it's used, and what it is for. Visit boot.dev to sign up for their service and try out their tutorials. I'll put a link on screen here and down in the description below. You just have to picture Beast doing commercials for a lot of this stuff, like learning to code will help you save the multiverse, will help me save the multiverse. Here's the other important detail too. Kevin Feige recently implied that the X-Men team is going to be coming from the universe in the Marvels post-credit scene with Beast and Maria Rambeau's binary at the X-Mansion, the alternate universe that Monica Rambeau got stuck in after the incursion. Some of you probably already guessed this just because it seems like the logical choice. Marvel already spent all this time setting it up. It's just economy of storytelling. Like, we already have a whole bunch of X-Men in this universe. Why don't we just say that all the returning ones come from here? There's a version of Professor X that's alive, there's a whole X-Men team that are active. It also solves the problem of how they bring Monica Rambeau back into the MCU, back into the story. And it solves their Channing Tatum Gambit problem too. All of his scenes in Deadpool and Wolverine clowned on this fact, like, where did you actually come from? Or were you just born on the void? All meant to be jokes about his Gambit movie that never was, like it got canceled while it was still in development when Fox owned the X-Men. But at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, in the background of the TVA monitors, you can actually zoom and enhance. They released this scene later, a bit of a deleted scene. You can actually see video of him being rescued with a Marvel Sparkle Circle, as Deadpool calls them, into another universe. Kevin Feige implied that Gambit is also going to come from this same X-Men universe in the Marvel's post-credit scene. That's going to be his X-Men team.
Yeah, dog, let's go.
The reason why Gambit is coming back, like why they're bringing him back, is basically because Deadpool and Wolverine, like Ryan Reynolds, willed that into existence instead of doing a legit Gambit solo movie with his character. That's sort of the concession to him, like, we're not going to do a Gambit solo movie with you, but we will bring you back for Avengers Doomsday action. Maybe they will do the same thing for Wesley Snipes' version of Blade in Avengers Secret Wars. And it seems like, based on these scenes they're filming, like why they started with so many X-Men scenes they're filming, like it seems like all the stuff they're filming right now is X-Men focused. They're trying to follow a similar narrative path of Avengers Infinity War, where you open up the movie with a big battle scene, or like a wreckage of the end of a big battle scene, like Thanos coming for Thor and the Asgardians. Like you open up into the movie and the action is already in progress, like it's very propulsive. Only this time, because we're talking about Doomsday, it's Dr. Doom coming for the X-Men in their universe. Now remember the progression of the story during Avengers Infinity War. The Hulk then goes back to Earth to warn the Avengers about Thanos. So early theory here, just based on the way they're presenting all this, Dr. Doom is probably successful in destroying the X-Men's universe here, but the X-Men are able to escape to the MCU, explaining how they're able to cross over with Shang-Chi and the other new Avengers characters. There are a couple ways that they can actually accomplish this, like how do they actually get to the MCU? America Chavez is probably the easiest solution. She can literally hop between universes at will, and she's been studying magic and how to use her powers with Wong for the last couple of years. They've actually made big plans for her in the future with the Young Avengers. There was that leaked concept art that also showed her during Avengers Secret Wars with the other Young Avengers characters. A lot of their plans for that team won't happen till after Secret Wars. But I do think they're going to make use of her abilities during Avengers Doomsday just to explain how you get characters between different universes, because the movie is supposed to end inside the MCU. Or at least what's going to remain of the MCU when the movie is done, because we're talking about time runs out here. That's what they're adapting mostly for Avengers Doomsday, combined with some other original ideas. They had the same Infinity War style downer ending like the snap with Thanos ending the movie pushing into Avengers Endgame, only this time it's Robert Downey Jr. becoming God Emperor Doom, collapsing the rest of the multiverse. So RIP MCU, and there'll be a couple surviving characters that will survive into Avengers Secret Wars on a version of Battleworld. If they use the Void for that, it seems like they will be using the Void, just because that's also economy of storytelling. The Void already functions the same way that Battleworld does in the Secret Wars comics.
Reed called it a metaphysical junkyard.
From Loki Season 1, Episode 5?
But everyone post all your reactions in the comments below. And because we had this first look at Shang-Chi, a lot of people asking, will the 10 rings be really critical to the movie? They were supposed to be way more critical, like he was a way bigger part of the story when it was going to be Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. Originally, they were just going to say that Kang the Conqueror, or one of the Kangs, was the one that created the 10 rings themselves, just because the designs on the 10 rings look so similar to his base during Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. It just made sense that they would tie them to Kang. The early theory now is that Doctor Doom will just want the 10 rings just because he's looking to acquire all the major objects of power to help him destroy the MCU universe. He's going around the multiverse destroying different universes. I just did a whole video about how they're using the Ironheart series to basically show you how they're going to combine magic and technology for the Doctor Doom character, basically meant to explain how his character works in a way. But if you are watching that series, I'm going to do my finale video next week when they release the actual finale. Doctor Doom himself is not meant to show up on that series, but there was a moment where you have a prophet on the street in episode 1 yelling about how Thanos was just the beginning. That was just sort of meant to lead into the whole concept of Avengers Doomsday. Like, no, it's going to get much, much worse because Doctor Doom is going to show up real soon. They're going to be filming Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars back-to-back for the next couple of years. So, it's going to be like this for the next couple of years with the Avengers hype cycle starting in. You remember what it was like when Infinity War and Endgame came out in back-to-back years? It got real crazy. It'll be the exact same way during Doomsday and Secret Wars. Next week is definitely going to be Mephisto watch for a lot of Marvel fans. We will see if they wind up delivering on all the hype that's been happening the last couple of years. I literally just did a much bigger video on that new Fantastic Four trailer with a whole bunch more Galactus. Click here for that, and click here for my other brand new Superman video, also with a ton more footage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.